Do you have an idea for our show or just want to let us know what you think? Email us at jbenomo@ptd.net or visit us online at wyntv.com/OTBP. Join us on Facebook and Twitter. Let us know where you want us to go. Welcome back to the final segment of Off the Beaten Path, the program that showcases interesting people, places, and things all across this great state of Pennsylvania. We're with some wrestlers today.
We are at the Bumps and Bruises Training Center on Broad Street in the city of Hazleton. Now, along with the Bumps and Bruises Training Center, there is also two wrestling federations, highly competitive wrestling and intense competition wrestling, pro wrestling as well. And I stopped by at the highly competitive wrestling show not too long ago, and I also got to talk to some of these guys in the ring who not only can really hurt me, but they also have some interesting stories to tell about their careers.
They won't hurt you.
Not me, maybe you.
No. I'm sure they're nice people.
Yeah.
Like the one and only creamy crunchy chocolate, O-R-R-E-O.
Here's why I like wrestling. This guy is El Oreo. I believe that's Spanish for the Oreo, but that's not important right now. What is important is that El Oreo is about to win his match because he used his cabeza. That's Spanish for head. El Oreo lured the big guy, the Misfit, out of the ring and got him counted out. 9, 10, ring the bell! I don't know El Oreo's story. I wish I did, but maybe that's why I like him so much, because he's a mystery. Anyway, this story isn't just about El Oreo. It's about giving you a behind-the-scenes look at the sport of professional wrestling. Yes, I said sport, mostly because I believe it's a sport and partly because I'm scared of what the big gun here would do to me if I said otherwise.
The number one misconception is that wrestling's fake. I mean, we've all heard it. We've all heard it before. I tell these guys when they start training, wrestling is real as you can get without trying to kill the other person. Because I may teach you how to fall and not break your neck, but it still hurts. Ask these guys, it still hurts. 14 years later, it's not like it stopped hurting. I just notice it less. But then even that, after a while, takes its toll, and you get to that point where you know, your back can't take it, your knees can't take it. But it is as real as you can get without trying to kill the other person. There's no stunt involved. Just like with stuntmen, they have to learn how to do things so that they don't kill themselves. But they still get hurt all the same.
David Ola, the big gun, should know. He's been doing this for 14 years, and when he first started out, he had the chance to get in the ring with a superstar.
The third match I ever had, I was asked to wrestle King Kong Bundy because I was the only guy that was even close to his size. And he was 450 pounds at the time. And they said, well, you go wrestle him. Third match, so I have no gimmick. I come out in basically what I wore in training. And King Kong Bundy came out and just absolutely laid the forearms to me. He hit me as hard as he could with the forearms and finally grabbed a hold of me and said, you better fight back or I'm gonna hurt you. So we had a match, and after the fact, he shook my hand. He said, that was great work, kid. I'd love to wrestle you anytime.
I don't know how El Oreo became El Oreo, but I do know how Ola became the big gun.
I started out 14 years ago. First I started under my own name because it seems like nobody starts out with a gimmick right off the bat. Then I moved into the Mac Robo gimmick, which is what I had when I started out earlier. Eventually that evolved into the big gun, and it kind of came down to this. When you're in a war, you don't go to war with a stick or a knife, you go out and you get a really big gun. So whenever somebody needs somebody to even the sides up or settle the score, they call on the big gun. I'm a good guy because the fans make me a good guy. I've tried to be the bad guy. I've tried to, you know, beat those guys up that everybody cheers, but they just cheer me more for it. So I do what the fans tell me to.
Ola shares all of his knowledge at the Bumps and Bruises Wrestling Training Center in Hazleton. He works along with two other trainers, Sean McLaughlin and Aaron Featherman. In the ring, they're known as Scintillating Sean Andrews and Awesome Aaron Scott, and they make up the tag team Better Than You. The two friends hold 2 tag team titles, and they both got their start by training with Ola.
The hardest part in wrestling is training and then your first couple matches. You get lost in matches, and then you have to rely on the veterans to guide you. I made a lot of mistakes in matches in the beginning because I didn't know how to cover up my mistakes or what to do. Yeah, you just wrestle on, and then if I make a mistake, the veteran would grab a hold of me and then take care of me, so the mistake didn't look like a mistake.
With Sean and Aaron, when they started, they came to me and they were talking about some of the things they had done in the past when they had talked about building a gimmick. And we took what they said and we just kind of ran with it. And any good gimmick is just who you are with the dial turned up. And I know that's an old cliche in wrestling that you hear this wrestler, that wrestler, it's just them with the dial turned way up. But with Aaron and Sean, it's Aaron and Sean just cranked all the way up. They turn the dial up to 11 and leave it there for the entire match. And that's really what Better Than You came out to be. It was them and the way they interact with each other and the way they interact with other people just dialed all the way up.
Sean and Aaron now run highly competitive wrestling, and you are looking at clips from their first event. They dedicated the event to Aaron's dad, who passed away from heart disease. The tag team used the event as a fundraiser for the American Heart Association, and Aaron came out to explain that, and that's when absolutely flawless CD Sensation showed up with his manager.
Aaron, the 10-bell salute is great and everything, but let's cut to the real reason why we're here tonight. To see absolutely flawless CD Sensation! And that's right. And I know that you won tag titles here and there as one half of Better Than You. And I know that you're friends with the big gun Matt Rogo and Andy Header, but that doesn't mean anything. As a matter of fact, your career means nothing until you beat CD Sensation in that ring 1, 2, 3.
Are you booing? I was. Okay, I couldn't boo because I was taking on my persona, Ken Kara, WYLN sports reporter, but I wanted to. And it's pretty crazy that I wanted to because I met CD Sensation and I like him. This was CD's second appearance at an event. Here's how his debut went.
How did the crowd react your first time out there and in the end, doing it? What was the crowd reaction?
Well, it was a little, they didn't really know because that was the first time they ever seen me. So, I tried to do the best I can to make them hate me. I thought I did an alright job for my first time, but that's not for me to decide. That's for them and everyone else, well, the fans, because it's really what they want.
If you're still upset with absolutely flawless CD Sensation, you could always challenge him to a match. All you have to do is call the Bumps and Bruises Training Center. They'll teach you everything you need to know, and they promise that you'll get at least one match, either with highly competitive wrestling or the intense competition Wrestling Federation. If you do sign up, tell them Off the Beaten Path sent you, and if you meet El Oreo, tell him I think he's muy bien.
Well, that's all we have on Off the Beaten Path.
I actually have a confession before we end the show. This is my former Cub Scout thing. I don't know if
it's not official.
No, it's not official. It has nothing to do with wrestling. It was when I was a Wolf Scout.
That's
so
still
glad I held on to this. So hope you enjoyed this show and you thought it was cool. And if you did, hey, become a fan of the show. Facebook.com/WYLN Off the Beaten Path.
And check out our website at WYLNTV.com/OTBP. We'll see you next time as we go Off the Beaten Path.
You know what you should do now?
What?
Like one of those old wrestling interviews where you call out somebody? Like Brian Bromley.
Yeah, Brian Bromley, where are you?
You don't even come to Hazleton anymore?
Yeah.
Because you're scared of me and Jeff Bonomo. And I'm gaining more weight.
And I'm not losing any because I eat a lot and drink a lot of beer and I really don't care anymore.
Did you wrestle when you were growing up, like with your buddies and that?
Yeah, yes. We used to do backyard wrestling.
Which you probably shouldn't do.
No, you shouldn't do that.
You should come to a place like this and learn how to do it properly. But back in the 80s when there were no rules, you did wrestle in
Yes, my grandfather had an old grapevine in the backyard. And
like in The Godfather?
Yes, just like in The Godfather. And we put elastic ropes around it. And we used to have wrestling matches. We used to dress up like, Hulk Hogan, Adrian Adonis. That's way back when. That was when he used to actually wear the leather too.
Oh. Did you wear the leather?
I don't think I ever played Adrian Adonis. Like we played different wrestlers each week, and we used to have programs and stuff. And all the kids from parties would come and sit in the backyard and watch us wrestle.